Hey everybody. Um, a couple things I wanted to talk about. Well, just someone wanted to say first, and then as usual, I've got some questions. The first thing I'd like to say is to the people that that have helped me out along the way. Since day one, starting flying radio control planes. I really appreciate you guys' help. I've definitely learned a lot from you guys. That being Ed with Experimental Airlines, Mr. West, 1960, Daisy 8 Luke, who else am I? There's a guy, I don't remember his full screen name, it's Frog something. To everybody, I really appreciate your help. To the people that have kept with me and have kept track on my progress on my FB Albatros plane that I'm making, keep watching. I mean, I'm not giving up on this thing. I really like to see this thing go. I just have this thing in my head and it won't go away, and I can see the entire plane in my head, and I'm getting really close to being done. Well, I'm not really close, but I'm getting closer to being done, and I really appreciate you guys' help, your support, your encouragement, all that. I've gotten to kind of a stopping point because I'm starting to. Right now, I'm actually at the point where I need my electronics. The motor I've got picked out. I'm going to pick that up from hobbyparts.com. I don't remember the name of the motor, but it's got, I think it's 245 kV or something like that, and it's a real big can. I'm going to be running it on two 6-cell lipos in parallel. Probably turning either a 19-inch propeller or a 20-inch propeller. The speed control is going to be picking that up also from hobbyparts.com. It's a 100 amp speed control. It's opto, so I'll have to get an external BEC, and I've got that picked out too. With some help from Mr. West, 1960. I appreciate your help clarifying, some issues I had with that. The way I would like to have my plane set up is, all right, on the two outermost sections of the main wing, there's a 60-inch section on the left and a 60-inch section on the right. Those two 60-inch sections, I plan on those two being my ailerons, and because those are 60-inch sections, I was thinking, I'm probably going to have to run two servos on each aileron to get it to move freely, or to get it to move with ease, without putting too much stress on one single servo. And okay, so you're talking two servos on each of the ailerons, and then if you come in from those two outer sections, there's a 40-inch section on the left and a 40-inch section on the right. And I was thinking with those, I was thinking about having flaps or spoilerons on there, and because those are 40-inch sections, I was thinking about just having one servo. So that right there we're at a total of 6 servos, and then there in between that we've got the center section with the king post, and that section will just have the wiring run through it for the outer sections. But then we have my big tail section with the rudder and the elevator, and the rudder is I think it's like 16 and a half, it might be 17 inches long. It'll be a 5-inch wide rudder control surface. And I was thinking, probably just put one servo on that, so there's another servo on top of the other one, so now we're up to 7. The elevator being 60 inches from side to side, and also 5-inch rudder control or elevator control surface. I was thinking about running 2 servos on there just so it moves freely, easily, without stressing the servo. So with all of that in mind, we're talking a total of 9 servos. The external BEC I plan on picking up. I think it's like the second to the biggest one I could find, just because I want to make sure. I want to do as best I can to be able to run power for my receiver and all 9 servos, and not create a ball of fire in the air. I really don't want to be taking home a pile of melted up foam board. But the problem that I'm having, and this here is something that I wanted to ask you guys about. I'm really having troubles deciding on what servos to get, because I don't know. I mean, there are so many servos out there, and the planes that I run here so far, the servos that I've put on all of them are all just your smaller 9-gram servos. I was looking at some of the torque and the speed on those smaller servos, and I think I have 2 planes here that I actually have. They're Futaba S 3114 high torque micro servos. The torque on them at 4.8 volts is 21 ounces per inch, or it's 1.5 kilograms. At 6 volts, it's 24 ounces per inch, or 1.7 kilograms per square inch. The speed was actually pretty the same, 0.9, 0.10. But I mean, it's for the Futabas, they're 1.5 kilograms to 1.7 kilograms per square inch, and like from Hobby King, the high tech, or I'm sorry, the Hextronic HXT 900s, the torque on those at 4.8 volts was 2.5 kilograms. So actually, these more inexpensive 9-gram servos from Hobby King were actually stronger than the Futaba servos that I was buying from my local hobby shop. And these Hobby King servos, they were like $3 or $4 a piece. I was buying these Futabas at my hobby store for 15 bucks a piece. Tell you, I wasn't happy when I seen that. Something I was thinking for my 20-foot wingspan plane was a servo like this, where the torque at 6.0 volts is 4.5 kilograms per square inch, and at 7.4 volts it's 5.1 kilograms. Now, the biggest thing I don't understand about this, I don't know how this works. On all 3 of these servos, and just about every other servo that I've looked at online, they show your speed and your torque ratings for what was it? I'm sorry, for 4.8 volts or 6.0 volts, or this one here is 7.4 volts. And I was reading in the directions on the Futaba a couple weeks ago. It said don't operate it higher than 11 volts. Where do those volts come from? How does that work? I don't know. I don't know if I'm just that much of a simpleton. I was thinking, you plug in the battery and the servo acts on the power that it needs. But we've got 2 different voltage ratings. How does that happen? How do you get the 4.8 or the 6.0 or the 7.4? How does all that work? Okay, so that would be question number 1. Question number 2 You see here, I actually have, actually the center section of my big plane. Here's the king post. Goes down through this hole right there. That looks pretty sharp. Right now I just have a couple pieces of masking tape holding it closed just so that it makes this piece more manageable. I actually do need to open this back up to run the wires through there for the servos, but I don't have any servos here, so I really need to get those ordered. But as far as the control surface, I think this here, if I were to cut this right here, I would probably have 1.5 inches of control surface. I'm thinking it needs probably 2.5 to 3 inches of control surface. Actually, the centerpiece won't have any control surface, but the ailerons and the flaps, they will. I was thinking those need to be like 2.5 to 3 inch flaps. But with the bigger section, the two bigger sections that I've got, like I said, they're 60 inches. That's 5 feet long. And I was thinking about, I was planning on running 2 servos to operate them. Can you guys help me out and suggest a stall torque, the torque, the speed? I mean, I imagine the speed is almost, pretty relative for all the servos. I've seen all the speeds for a bunch of different servos, and they're all actually pretty close to being the same. But as far as the strength, the power, the torque, say I was to put a couple of those 9-gram servos on here from Hobby King, the HXT 900s. I just think that with those being, smaller servos, especially with plastic gears, because I do plan on getting metal gears for this plane. I do want metal gear servos. But what was I saying? I don't know what servos, as far as the torque, that I need to be getting, because do I go to the bigger end and just overkill the whole thing, or can I step down a little bit, because I'm trying to save a couple of bucks. I don't want to skimp on the whole project, but I certainly want to make sure that my servos are going to be strong enough to move the control surface and to be able to hold that flat position, as I'm in a bank or whatever. I mean, granted, the plane I'm making, it's not going to be 3D, so I'm not going to be hovering this big plane in the air. I just want it to fly around the field nice and easy. I'm trying, hopefully no hard turns. But I certainly want to make sure that the servos are going to be strong enough to last. So can you guys help me out with that? I'd really appreciate it. So something I did look at, one of the other servos is it's a Corona digital metal gear servo. The actual weight is they say it's around 32 grams. The stall torque at 6 volts was 4.5 kilograms, and at 7.4 volts it was 5.1 kilograms. And the way I'm thinking it, 1 kilogram actually equals 2 pounds. I think that's right. So if this is at 7.4 volts, this is saying 5.1 kilograms, so that's like right around 10 pounds per square inch. I think that would definitely be enough. Or am I reading this and not understanding it right? But that's the way it sounds to me, because it says 5.1 kilograms per centimeter. Yeah, I think I said that wrong earlier, but it says 5.1 kilograms per centimeter. So translate that over to like pounds, that's like 10 pounds per square centimeter, or something like that. You see, I'm confused about this. I don't understand how that works. But yeah, if you guys can help me out, maybe take a look at a couple. Look online for me and suggest some Metal Gear servos that you think would work. You know, I would certainly, you know, as always, I appreciate you guys' input. I appreciate you guys, you know, taking a look at my videos. I appreciate you guys tolerating my stuttering. I've stuttered for as long as I can remember. Yeah, if you guys can help me out, I'd really like to push forward on this, but unfortunately, I didn't foresee this ahead of time, so I don't have any of my parts ordered. You know, like I said, I've got my motor and speed control and BEC picked out, but as the servos, I have no clue. You know, I could guess, and you know, take the plane up and something bad happened because I guessed and I guessed wrong. You know, I mean, if it, I guess that's part of the hobby, but you know, if it, you know, I've actually got quite a bit in this plane, and I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous, and I don't want to crash it on the first time out. If it happens, it happens, but you know, anyway, I'm rambling on. I mean, here we are. It's 12:30 in the morning, and I've been up a long time, so I'm tired. I'm sorry. You guys, give me your thoughts on the servos. I'd really appreciate it. I would certainly like to get them ordered soon. If you can come across servos at hobbyparts.com, that would be awesome. That I can get them ordered all at the same time. Or if it, you know, it's from a separate dealer, well, okay, that's just the way it is. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna stop stuttering. Appreciate you guys' help. Thanks again, and I hope to hear from everybody sometime soon. Take care.